Good morning, I'm Tina Laster and you're back at Laster Farm. Today I'm going to show you how our garden looks after the rain we've had the last 2 days. And we're also putting up a door on the front of our tool shed. So let's get started. Okay. You didn't see me the other day. I come over here and I planted our squash. This is our zucchini and it's our yellow squash. It's kind of a mix that was in the pack, and so I went ahead. I know they're probably a little close together than what people normally put, but I'm trying to get the most out of these beds, and so I will be planting other things in front of them. So when they start growing, I may have to take some of them out. I'm not sure, but as of right now, I think we're going to try it and see what happens. And over here, our potatoes. Look how tall they are. They're really tall, and they are coming along really, really well. And of course, our onions. They are doing marvelous. And our cabbage, they're starting to head up a little bit. And so they're starting to really widen out. They're looking beautiful this morning. That rain, there's nothing like the rain there's no comparison. When we water, I know we've got well water and we've also got, other sources of water, but anyway, our rain doesn't compare to God's rain from up above. It just puts so much nutrients into this soil, and it just makes these plants come alive. And so these are tomatoes and peppers I planted in this bed. I also planted some over there in that bed. I put some cucumbers around my little trellis. I've got to put another trellis up for the rest of my cucumbers. And then on that bed over there, I did go ahead and put the okra in, even though I know that it's going to be, pretty tall. So Steve said we'd deal with that, and he probably picked that for me anyway. So, and then this is our tomatoes and peppers that we planted. We tried to come back out of here and put up our trellis, but as you can see, the rain stopped us, and it's been raining the last 2 days, and it's just been such a muddy, wet mess, as you can see out here on this fresh soil. So we could not get back up there, get up here and finish this up. So we're going to put the one there and the one here. And I don't know if I raise it up any higher, it's going to be pretty tall. And I can just touch the top really good right there to pick the beans out of that. But I don't know if, how it's going to look, if it's going to look like it's coming in like it is right now. Once we get it stationary, it may not look, thin at the bottom and wider at the top. Who knows? We got to deal with that. But as far as working in the garden today, we're not going to be out here putting the trellis in because it's just too wet. So look what we're working on today. I have decided to keep the old barn siding on the outside. Now there's a few places that we're going to have to replace, and the barn is really not square. The siding is not square. So when we were putting in our door, we started putting it in yesterday afternoon, and it was just looked like the door was just not level at all, because the building's kind of leaning and the siding is off. It's just that building is just in bad shape, and we're coming back, and Steve is putting new walls in it and new 2x4s in it, but he's going to let me keep the siding on the outside if I want to, and then we're going to just do some more the board and batt siding over the cracks that in between the boards that are already up there, like the side. That's what I want to do to it. See how the sides look. But I'm still going to paint it that barn red. But I know it's probably, some of you think, oh, why are you doing that? Because you got the new siding to put up, and I've got different siding on the other two sides, but I just wanted to leave some of the old. I hate to take away, I hate to take away all of this beautiful charm from this old building, because I just love the old like that. I just love it. Steve is trying to get that the door in. It's a little tight on this side and it's not wanting to shut good, but we're trying to get that fixed this morning, shimmed in. So I'll bring you back in a little bit and let you see it finished. So we'll catch you in a second. Okay, we have got our siding back on. We had to take every bit of this siding loose from our 2x4 across the top and our 2x4 across the bottom and in the center, and we had to just kind of let it dangle from the top nails at the top, and we had to put a level on each board and level each board back up, because this building, it is just really unsquare, and it really made our door look like our door was not level, not centered. And even our neighbor from across the street said, I see you've got finally fixed that crooked door. So anyway, we have got it as level as we can possibly get. The door's level, the studs on each side, and anyway, we've got the boards back on, shot on, and we're not going to continue to do our lap over the siding right now. We're going to put that on after we get through framing out our porch and putting our porch post on, and even our rafters and stuff in for the roof of this porch. We're going to wait about that, because we're going to have to do a lot of as you can see, we're going to have to put in a lot of extra little boards around the door and put our molded and trim up to make it look good, because right now it looks like a beast. It looks pretty bad. So I'm so glad though that Steve let me keep this, because I just love it. I mean, I love the looks of it, and I really like the other side around there, and I think it's going to just really look good after we get finished with it. But I am going to paint it that barn red like the other sides we've got started, and I'm glad we was able to get this door in today. It's been stored down in the barn since last fall, when our daughter got a new front door. This was on their house, our daughter-in-law. And so anyway, it serves our purpose, and it's a recycled door, so we didn't have to purchase that. So praise the Lord. So I'm loving how it's looking, and now we're going to get our post holes dug for the front porch post and see what we get done for the rest of the afternoon. Probably not a lot. It's been warm, and then it's cooled off now this afternoon, so it's getting kind of chilly out here, but I may end up having my jacket off before it's over with, because you know, once you get to work and you get to sweat and get hot. So let's get these posts in the ground. Good morning, I'm Tina Laster and you're back at Laster Farm. It's the next day and we did not get finished with the project that we were working on, which is starting on the front of the tool shed. We're building the porch and we're trying to get our post set yesterday, but we had company come up and it kind of delayed us from finishing that project, and it was just a wet, messy day yesterday. I'm going to let you see what we finished yesterday and let you know what we're starting on right now. So this is what we have finished, which is getting the boards all lined up and square and the door in as square as we can get it and as level, considering what we had to work with. So we are Steve is trying to square up the porch and the posts and trying to decide where we want to put everything. So we are going to run us some 2x6s across the top, around the top, and then we're gonna get our post set. Well, get our post set first and then run our board around the top. So I guess we're gonna get started on that, but before we do, let me show you the garden. The rain has really made things come alive. But tonight we're gonna have to cover all of our tomatoes and our peppers and everything else that we don't want the frost to hit, because tonight is our last frost date. So I got these in the ground a little early, but I think if we cover them tonight, they'll be okay if our tarps don't break them. But this is the last night of the frost. So, but they're looking pretty. They're starting to come alive out here. And our cabbage and onions and everything is just looking so pretty. And so I'm excited about that. But I'm not excited about the frost. So back to our work project. Okay, our porch is gonna be about 11 foot wide and we're gonna be about 8 foot out. So 11 by 8. So we're gonna put our post in now.
Well, no, let's put a 2-4.
Okay.
Do that. Now let's get another one. And I guess come out behind here.
we're using for this. We had built a wall at the back on the other side of the guest house, and a storm had come through and they had broke off to them, even with concrete. And so we had 3 more left, and so we just sawed those off flush and brought them around here to use for our post on our porch, because we were going to have to take the other ones down anyway, because it didn't, you know, with the other ones being broke off, we was going to have to do something with them. We couldn't have left, you know, 3 sticking up. So anyway, that's what we're doing. And I wanted 4x6 posts underneath the porch anyway, because usually if you use a 4x4 it's going to warp or whatever, and they still could warp, and they may be warped from the sun for where they were sticking up out of the ground. But I'm trying to get by with using recycled stuff that I already have on the property, that we're trying to just use up and get rid of, instead of having a lot of stuff laying around our property. So that's what we're doing, instead of going out and buying stuff. Maybe get board stuff. Ravel that wood.
Yeah.
There's a couple of 2x2s.
That'll work.
As you can see, I'm not taking the nails out.
Oh, we don't cut ourselves. You come out this way.
Yeah, I probably need to, because that 2x4 will be in the way. Do I need to go down?
I think it worked.
Oops. I made that just a little.
You better check it. You talking about the 2x4?
I don't know. I think it could have.
Let's check it.
Should have moved it. Outside?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay.
Alright. Did I move it over?
Don't think so.
I think I did.
Yeah, it felt good. Which way's it gonna go? Top
It's
goes
gotta
under
go
what?
this way for the- Okay, right there. Let me-
That looks good.
Pick it up just once. Just a hair.
I can't do it just a hair thing. I'll go back the other way.
Alright. Okay. Right there. Now let's measure that again. Because I moved it. I moved it.
Yep. 130 or ½ inch. That means the whole thing's gotta go ½ inch. Still Oh,
Still what?
if we didn't move it.
It did move. Oh, it moved. Here.
Can you pick that up?
Well, you moved it and watch. Like this, getting it level first. So that's level there.
Let's check these again.
Okay, we've had to stop working on our tool shed because we've had an alarm go off on our phone saying that we have a freeze alert tonight. So we knew this was coming because this was going to be the last day for our frost date, and I went ahead and planted early, so we're having to cover everything tonight. So we're trying to get everything covered up, and maybe, just maybe, it'll survive tonight. What we don't have tarps for, we're going to try to just cover with a fruit jar. So we're going to get this bed done. Well, we have everything covered, and so CC feels better about it. I guess it gives us both peace of mind that tonight, if it does frost, which I believe it will, because you know how our weather's been lately, but we've got everything covered. I know I could have left the cabbage and the onions, you know, uncovered, but we went ahead and covered everything since we had the stuff. Luckily, we had the tarps here and the black plastic to do it left over from my father-in-law's garden project that we were doing for his front flower bed. So praise the Lord for that. Or our garden, I would be digging everything up, putting it in a box and sticking it in the greenhouse and then resetting it back out tomorrow, you know. But let me show you what we have done over here on the tool shed. Okay, on the tool shed, we have just got our posts set in concrete, and that's really all we've got up. Now this center board that comes across the middle here, this is just to help support the post, and this is going to come out, and we're going to do our rafters this way. And the roof on this side used to have a lean-to, so it's a different angle than this side, but we went ahead and went off of the side that we like better than this side where we're going to have to add to anyway. So what we're going to do is, after we get our rafters up, we're going to take this board down, and then we're going to just fix us a windrow up there through the middle, because we're going to have a porch that's going to come up you know, with the bottom, it's gonna be flush with the bottom of the floor over there. So with that said, you know, we would have to step up onto the porch, and we'd have to duck under this every time. But instead of fixing just a little bitty porch over the door, I wanted a porch that we could come out here and use. So I'm gonna put, like I said, we're gonna build a swing and put a 6-foot swing on this side. This porch is 8 foot deep and almost 11 foot, yes, 11 foot wide. So I measured for that dresser that I was talking about. I wanted to put on this side, and it will just barely fit over there. It will come right to the white side of that door facing. So I don't know if I want to put it there or not, but it would be pretty with the drawers opened up and put plastic in them to line it, plant it with blooming flowers. I thought it would be so pretty. And I've got the mirror that I could put up on the wall too. And I can't wait to get started on that. But maybe we can get, if the weather permits, we can get out here tomorrow and put our rafters on and our tin. So if we can, and then we can work on our floor too, our floor joists. But I don't know if that's going to be possible tomorrow, because I promised Millie that I would treat her just a day out, just the two of us. So might have to do that in the afternoon with her and work on this in the morning, because I would like to get some of this done. But got our garden covered tonight, so that's going to give us a little bit of peace of mind. Let me whip it around and show you. So this is, all of our garden is completely covered. We have fruit jars over some of the smaller stuff, and then we just covered everything for the night. And we did get our two trellises up. Let's walk around and I'll let you see that. I didn't even have to use the T-post like I was going to. Now they are still a little narrow looking toward the bottom. They kind of horseshoe out at the top, but that doesn't bother me. Once everything starts growing on it, it's going to be just the right height to go underneath it. I mean, it will be just the right picking height for me, you know, for the green beans. So I was glad to get these up today. It didn't take long at all. We just used some of those steeples, fencing steeples for it, and it didn't take long to put it up at all. So I'm glad to have these up, and I can't wait for this frost to pass and uncover everything and let everything start growing. And so I think that's all. I have a few more things that I'm going to be planting in the garden. I still have peppers that have come up. They're about this tall, so they're trying to make it. So I'm going to get those set out in the garden this week. Maybe I may wait and let them get a little bit taller before we set them out, you know, because that way they'll be frost tender as it is. But hopefully this will be our last night of frost. I'm really hoping it will be. But we're getting something done. Got something done today. So I guess we're going to be taking it easy for the rest of the day. So thank you for joining me today at Laster Farm, and come back this week and see what else we've got going on. I'm hoping that we will have a good start on that tool shed and get it near completion. Now we do have to come back, and we're doing a lap siding, so we'll have to come back and do like the board and batten, and we've already got the board up, so we're gonna have to put the batten strip up. But that'll be after the front porch is complete, and then I'll come back and me and the kids will probably paint that up in that barn red and do all of our trim work in white. And I'm using recycled lumber for the flooring on that, I'm using the 5/4 board fencing that we've got up over here that we've got to take down. And then I have some on a fence on the other side of the house that I'm going to take off. And we're going to recycle that, use that for our flooring. And then for our joists, our 2x6s, we have some of those stored in the barn. So maybe we won't have to buy anything for that, I'm hoping. And then we have our recycled tin. We have some more of that left over from our chicken coop project. And I'm thinking we're gonna have enough to finish out our chicken coop and to put the pieces on that tool shed. So I can't wait to see what that's gonna look like. I'm excited. I know the sides are gonna come down a little long on the tool shed, but on the roof. But I really want to swing under that porch, so when I'm out here working in the garden and I want to have a glass of sweet tea, I can go over there and sit on that porch and look at my garden, and you know, I can come out here and maybe take my little Bible study out there on my little swing, or maybe fix me a little bistro table with a couple of chairs over there, and it would be a great place to do a little Bible study early in the morning. Well, anyway, I'm going to get off of here, and thank you again for following along with me. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and y'all have a blessed day. Bye.